Now, coming to you live from atop the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's the one, the only, PUCL Podcast.
It's PUCL! PUCL! It's PUCL! PUCL! Pokemon Underground Champions League, oh yeah! PUCL! PUCL.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the PuCl Podcast. I'm your host, Trainer Thatch, here today with my co-host. I don't know. I don't have an adjective today. We've got the one and only fluffiest Whimsicott.
There you go. You have an adjective. Fluffiest.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. And we've got the wonderful, as always, Lord Jushiro.
Some sassiest, Lord Jushiro? Hi, guys.
Yeah. Welcome to the PuCl Podcast. PuCl, of course, stands for the Pokemon Underground Champions League, a nonsensical name we came up with in 2007, where we talk everything about Pokemon, from the trading card game to the video game to everything in between, though I guess today is just on those two ends of the spectrum. But, like, the one thing I've been wanting to play recently that I'm trying to figure out the best way for me to play it is Pokemon Pinball, Ruby Sapphire.
Ooh,
or even just, like, the original.
So
like, So I don't even know what happened. I had Pokemon Pinball as a kid, and like I'm usually pretty good about knowing where my stuff is, and that's like the one thing I haven't been able to find is my Pokemon Pinball, my original Pokemon
Maybe
Pinball.
some of your classmaits had the five-finger magic trick.
No, it's probably my brother.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should ask your brother.
No, it was probably family.
There's a very good chance it was probably my brother. Well, not that he like took it maliciously. He probably just like took it.
No, yeah,
like,
but
it
is the kind of game that you pass off to a younger sibling while you keep all the main series ones.
I don't know if that was like something that's what happened because like I don't know because so there's like a huge age gap between me and my brother.
I know.
Yeah, I mean the people listening to the show to younger. Yeah, I'm the oldest by like 7 years.
Oh yeah, no, I'm the youngest by 12.
Yeah, no. See, the problem is then somebody like you shows up as like it's not big.
Oh, are we playing this game? I can still win. I'm the oldest by almost 15.
Oh wow.
So I took a personality psychology course in college because it's very useful to me. That was sarcasm.
Oh, it is.
That was sarcasm.
I've took psychology and it's helped me a lot. The force is strong with the weak-minded.
It was a very memorable class. And one of the things I remember taking away from it was personality psych. And one of the things that I don't know how much I believe in the field of psychology to begin with, for the record.
It's hit or miss.
Yeah, but there were studies done that showed that like around a 4-year age gap is when like siblings aren't really siblings anymore.
Yeah.
They're more like an extra parent, right?
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that because that is kind of what I was to my brother, was just like an additional parent.
Right.
And I mean, I went off to college when I was 18 and he was 11, so it's not like we were BFFs or anything. I mean, I do wish I had like that relationship with him, but we are very different people. We are very, very different people, which is fine. I'm not upset about it. He does some cool stuff too. He's actually he chases tornadoes now. Like, I kid you not.
Ooh.
Oh God.
Like, people are just like, wow, you're a physicist? No, my brother chases tornadoes. Like, he's the guy.
From Twisters?
He goes down and like, when there's like hurricanes in Texas, he's the guy that like drives the truck in to like take the data. Like, he's that guy.
Was the movie Twister any sort of trampoline for him?
I'm pretty sure that is the sole reason he went into it.
That is awesome, though. I respect that.
My brother was really bad about like watching the same movies over and over again, and Twister was one of those in that rotation. And like the other one was there's this like really terrible movie about the Tower of Terror at Disney World.
Oh, yeah.
He watched that one so many times. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's because all of my memories are from like before he was like 11, right? So like this is something kids do, is they watch the same movie over and over again.
Oh yeah.
There's something about children hyper-focusing on the weirdest stuff to the point where they become a professional, respected professional that I just love that type of story.
No, he's become like a full on, he's an atmospheric scientist, everything. Like he's doing some cool stuff.
That's how I've always felt that was my clutch, not in the, oh, that's cool, but in the, that's a problem. I don't know if I'm using that right. Yeah. Hello, fellow kids.
It's fine.
Is that I've always been like a jack of all trades, but master of none.
Yeah.
Like I've never felt that in my life where like I saw this one thing and then I wanted to become that and I am that now in my life. I've always been like, I wanted to be anything in the spectrum. And I wish I had chosen one thing. I mean, my life is great, but I do hope that I would, like, you know, that I was a scientist or a doctor or something that I would have focused my energy on.
I will say, I mean, this is a Pokemon podcast, which we have talked nothing about Pokemon for, but I will say that like that feeling exists no matter what you do. I literally had this conversation with somebody yesterday where I called myself a jack of all trades, master of none as a physicist.
You have a PhD,
that's
dude.
technically not what it means for you, Thatch. You actually are a master of something. It's in your degree.
It's definitely a different context, right? Because we were talking about like, you know, because like there's specialties inside of being a physicist, right? Inside of being certain scientists. And
yes.
Because
it's like you're a mage, but you're an ice mage.
Remind me again how many people in the world understand your field of studies? Like 1 dozen or 2 dozen?
I don't. No. That's I think that's like more like religious studies.
Okay.
The community that I'm in, I mean, there are like a few hundred of us.
Oh, okay.
Like, maybe so. Like I would say like there's probably like the exact field I'm in, or one of the fields I'm in. I would say there's probably roughly on the order of something like 1,000 to 2,000 people in the world that like are working on this problem.
Okay.
But like, I mean, that's still not that many if you think about it. Like out of 7 or 8 billion,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, there's like 2,000 people around the world working in the same field, and not all of us are doing like as impactful work or doing things as importantly. Some of them aren't even doing just like their main thing, right?
Yeah, it was kind of my point.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's a small enough community that a lot of us know each other.
Yeah, like when you can put all of the people who understand your work inside of a very small mall, then you are pretty specialized, my friend.
Yeah, we're certainly specialized.
Like if they did a Pokemon professor convention in the Pokemon world, they would be like less than 10.
Well, okay,
to that convention, because apparently we only have one Pokemon professor per region.
I assume there's more than one per region. We just don't know about them, right?
To be fair, though, I think the population of the Pokemon world is very, very scarce.
Yes, I agree with that. I think the Pokemon world has a smaller population, but I do think there's probably professors that we just don't know about. Like, if you think about it, there's like anime-only professors as well, like if you include those.
And the guys in like up. Pokemon Go and
all the
stuff.
spin-off. Yeah.
It goes up. It goes up pretty quickly, and so I wouldn't be like, oh man, the Pokemon Professor conference isn't jam-packed or anything. Because so to like be a successful scientist, you need that community, right? So that community can be like, we know who this guy is. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson isn't Neil deGrasse Tyson because he's the only scientist. He's Neil deGrasse Tyson because the community said he's actually a very good communicator, and they've recommended him for things.
Yeah, and he has the ability, which is very scarce, of actually knowing how to explain stuff. Which I believe it's the problem with most scientists. Yeah.
My advisor in grad school explained to me one day, like we were sitting down, it was like my first year in grad school, and I was about to do like my first presentation or something. And we sat down and we worked on something together for like 2 hours. And he said to me, and I remember this very clearly, he goes, when you're a scientist, only about half your time is actually doing science. The other half of the time is figuring out how to tell other people what you did.
Right.
Yeah, sounds correct.
Because you do have to spend an inordinate amount of time trying to explain to people what you did and why it's important.
Right.
Like that is a huge deal in science. And if you're good at that, like you will be successful as a scientist. Professor Oak.
Yeah.
He has a radio show. I assume he's good at it. I also don't know what science he's actually doing other than being like, yeah, these Pokemon exist. Huzzah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's basic science. We didn't know that all of the elements were there until we, found them all. So,
to be fair, we probably haven't found them all.
Well, not the ones that,
that are stable, that are kind of stable.
Yeah. If you count the ones that we can make, you can go on like pretty much forever.
Yeah, I did see a paper recently that came out that said that some of the older stars that are out there could potentially make elements up to like 260.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah. Wow!
So there is like, this is a physics nerd thing. There is like a limitation to how big you can make a nucleus.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a point where the electrostatic forces, there's a distance at which the electrostatic forces overcome the strong and weak the strong nuclear force.
Yeah.
And so there is a distance, and so like that is not much larger than like the radius of some larger atoms.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, take that with a grain of salt, if you will.
It's really cool though.
It is really cool. No, dude, science is great. Science is amazing. And that's the introduction to your Pokemon podcast.
Science is great.
That's the introduction to your Pokemon podcast. There is some news to talk about, though. So let's go cue that epic newsic.
Live from the Lavender Town Radio Tower. This just in.
Welcome to the news. In the news, we've got a few things to talk about. Worlds locations were announced for 2025 and 2026, which is weird. They usually don't give us like that many Worlds locations in advance. To be fair, they're pretty much in the same place. In 2025, next year, it's going to be in Anaheim, California. And they are also going to, in 2026, have the next one, in San Francisco, California. They're not that far from each other. It's fine. And they're probably just doing it to make it easier for travel for TPCI staff, both in Japan and in Seattle. I assume that's what happened when they had it in Vancouver a few years ago as well. It was just easier travel.
Yeah.
I believe that's why it's in Hawaii as well this past year, is because it's just easier for them all to get to. It's like right in between Japan and the US. So I believe they always just do it in those locations because it's easier for them. And especially now with the game growing so much, they're trying to definitely rein things in. Following Worlds, they reduced the amount of championships points awarded for international championships for higher places by about 1/3 of what they were, and removed round 1 buys from Worlds. The big tournament best finish limit was also reduced down to 5. By big tournament, they mean regionals and internationals, because there was a lot of criticism looking at the build out for next year's tournament structure. And people are just like, it's very pay to play. You just go to a couple internationals, you do really well, then you're into because it's no longer like a point threshold. It's just you need to be in like the top 125 or something in the US for TCG.
Oh, yeah. And if someone takes all of the points and all of the spots.
Yeah,
they just,
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a different system, and I understand why they're doing it. They're probably doing it just to like reduce the number of people going to Worlds. And honestly, the game is like exploding exponentially right now, both on the TCG and the VGC side. And I don't think that they're capable of keeping up with it. So one, I think they want to try to slow the growth, which we'll see how successful they are on that. And two, I think they want to control at least the Worlds venue to see how many people can actually get in.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So, yeah. All right. Well, Scarlet and Violet news. Whimsicott, you take it away.
So, this year, quote unquote, there will be 8 global challenge-like events.
Awesome, actually. That's actually awesome.
Yeah. From September through May, except they're going to skip November. The ones taking place in January through April will be global challenges and be held worldwide. The others are going to be grand challenges, and they are going to be held only in regions where championship points exist.
That's still cool. I like that they're increasing them.
Yeah.
I really do like that.
Yeah. In news that is useful on a more short-term notice, this 7-star Dragonite raid that is going on now and is going to go for the rest of the week is scary but beatable. So you can use a Mimikyu with an air balloon, which if you dodge the Thunder and Hurricane that Dragonite launches at the very beginning of the raid, then it becomes pretty much untouchable. And you might want Stellar Terror on that. I also saw a video that, probably for the same like typing reason, recommended a Flutter Mane in a similar setup. And other Pokemon that can work are Unaware Dondozo, Corviknight, or Orthworm, actually, which I love that goofy guy.
Orthworm's great. I love Orthworm.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back for Pokemon Go news. Pokemon Go news. More Pekka was announced for Pokemon Go. With its form changing in battle when you use Aura Wheel. Dynamax was also teased. It's been teased forever. Also, Poplio Community Day is coming this Saturday. I just did get an email about that. And both Ponyta will be in the next Community Day on September 14th.
Oh, Galarian Ponyta, my beloved.
Yep.
There's some good TCG news, though, I think.
There is. So this year is having a second Ultra Premium collection featuring Greninja.
That's insane that they're doing 2 Ultra Premium collections this year, but that's okay.
Yeah. Spread the love. Let people join in.
There's one for Terrapagos and now one for Greninja.
That's really good. I love when they do that stuff. Make it accessible. World's announcements is that the trainer Pokemon are returning, including little Clefairy's EX that give dragons their weakness to psychic types. That's interesting.
It's so cool. It's like a callback to the Gym Leader set. It's so cool.
And Zoroark EX was also shown, bringing back the trade ability of the GX while also having access to any attacks from your own end Pokemon. Trader T's, Purloin, Darmanitan, Syphilis,
Sigilith.
And King Clang, while showing Reshiram. The Elite Team Rocket set was also teased. That's a lot of teases.
Dude, because they're doing like all of these Pokemon with trainer names like the Gym Leader Challenge, which is super cool. I love it. It's super retro.
Yeah.
I do love this is way better than if they would have like brought tag teams or something. Like this is the callback we needed was, hey, let's get Lily's Clefairy, let's get Enzoroark. I'm excited to see what other trainers we get as well outside of just like I think they showed Lily N and oh my gosh, there was another one they showed. I forget right off the top of my head, but they showed a couple, and I'm kind of excited to see, like, I went like red and blue, and like a bunch of other trainers, and they are like, this is going to obviously be continued as well because they're actually doing like a Team Rocket set as well, where it's going to be, I'm sure we're going to get like Giovanni's this or like Team Rocket's this or something like that. Kind of like they used to do back in the day when they had those Pokemon that were trainer specific, which is super, super cool.
Yeah, I agree. I used to love that set a lot. PuCL Badge Bonanza is happening this week in our first break week. We'll be playing Little Cup Random Battles?
Random Battles, yeah.
Random Battles, thank you. Sunday starts our Johto playthrough.
I'm super excited to start this Johto playthrough. I'm going to play Pokemon Crystal. I'm very excited.
I'm thinking about joining you because I don't do Unite, but
this is super. This one, like, yeah, Unite was the first one. This week we have like the little break week where you just play Little Cup Ranbats on Showdown. And then on Sunday we get like a 3-week thing of we're all gonna play Johto together. You can either play, one of the, you can play like GS Chronicles, which is a ROM hack which fixes it. You could play. I mean, it does change like the Pokemon pool and makes it a little bit more accessible leveling wise. But you could play one of the Gen 2 games. You can play Heart Gold Soul Silver. Like, the world's your oyster. So I intend to just play like Pokemon Crystal and just have a good time of it.
I might also try Pokemon Crystal because I never actually finished it.
Yeah, I'm gonna play Pokemon Crystal and go through it. And I think the idea is like we're just gonna share experiences like in the Discord together. I'm actually super hyped for this one. I'm super hyped.
I'm getting hyped too. I might join in.
Yeah, you absolutely should. I'm gonna bully you into it, Jushiro.
Let's all do it together.
Let's all do it together, which is the whole point. We should all be doing it together with the PuCL community. Let's do it.
Yeah.
PuclDiscord.com for everybody who never listened to the little bumper that I put in that says that. All right. In Wo-Chien's News Corner, news brought to you at a snail's pace. 10 years ago this week, they announced Pokken Tournament, the arcade game, and they announced the new 3DS.
10 years. I hate you.
Wow.
I just felt like the end of, oh my god, the Holy Grail movie, Indiana Jones. I just drank from the wrong cup.
It feels like that sometimes. Tell me about it, you know?
Tell me about it, guys.
Yeah, it's a time. It's certainly a time.
Yeah.
And then also, I mean, that's pretty much it for that this week. We do have Puckle's Pokey Opinion. I'm trying to pull up the information so I can actually, give you the correct answers for this, but, Regulation H for Pokemon VGC is starting next month because they're getting rid of restricted legends because they realize Scarlet and Violet's going to be the competitive game for the next 2 years, and they need to milk it.
Oopsie.
Oh, that wasn't in here, but I said that. What Pokemon are you looking forward to seeing play? Early grassroots show potential for starters like Meowscarada, Hisuian Decidueye, and Hisuian Typhlosion, and Paldean Tauros are back in contention too. For those of you who are like me and don't know what Regulation H's format actually is right now, I will tell you.
Thank you.
The eligible Pokemon are in the Paldean Dex from 1 to 375, so that means no Ultra Beasts, or not Ultra Beasts.
Paradox
Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
You also can use 388 to 392, which is like Golden Go and all that other stuff. You have Kitakami Pokedex 1 through 96, so none of the Loyal 3, any of the legends there. And the Blueberry Dex from 1 to 235, again, no Paradox Pokemon. There are other eligible Pokemon, which are just like all of the Hisuian forms, and Berserker, Weirdeer, Ursaluna, and Sneasler.
Yeah. Honestly, I know it's not gonna happen, but I would like to see Alcremie do something interesting.
Ooh. Yeah. That would be cool. I don't know. I don't really care. I just want, like, I love metas like this where we just get to go back to basics.
Yeah.
Usually when things get to the restricted legendary, it kind of means like the fun's over. This is when like things get super technical, but I love these formats because, outside of like 2015 when we just got chalk, most of the time you get something creative.
Right.
You get something creative, and I really, really love when people do it. So I don't know. The Pokemon that were mentioned are nothing that excite me. None of those spark joy. I would love to see like any of the older starters make a comeback. I mean, Alolan Raichu's in this meta, so like maybe Alolan Raichu can do something.
I love Alolan Raichu.
Alolan Raichu. I do suspect like we might get some goodness out of like Hisuian Arcanine as well. So we'll see. I mean, Incineroar will probably do well.
You don't say.
Yeah. Hisuian Zoroark would be really cool to see do well. I would love to see that. Like, I want to see people make Zoroark in general just work. Please just work.
I was going to say Whimsicott, but you know, it just won Worlds again, so
yeah. It's always winning Worlds.
I mean, what is this, the second time? Third time? But this time it was piloted by an Italian, so double representation for me.
Panning of the Pokemon world.
Something like that.
I made a sports joke, guys. Give me some credit.
I'm sorry that I didn't get it.
Nero. But yeah, that it is it's Pokemon Worlds is what we're talking about anyway. So yeah, let's take a short break before that topic though, and we're gonna go ahead and kick it on over to Puckle's Poke Quiz, where we're gonna quiz your co-host on their insane Pokemon knowledge.
Oh hi, and welcome to the Poke Quiz, the part of the show where we quiz our co-hosts on their insane Pokemon knowledge. I'm Mark from the Dunsparce Gang, here to explain the rules. Our fabulous co-hosts will work as a team to answer 5 Pokemon-themed trivia questions that fans have submitted on the Discord server. Each question is worth 1 point, with Pokedex and multiple answer questions worth more, for a total of 7 points. The host can use a free hint at any time. If they get all the answers correct and do not use the hint, they can cash it in for an 8th point.
Welcome to Pokel's Pokey Quiz. We're going to kick things off right away. Our first question is going to come to you from Professor Snag. What is the only mainline Pokemon games not to feature an electric type specialist?
Oh.
Repeat the question?
What is the only mainline Pokemon game not to feature an electric type specialist?
What do you mean by... Oh, you mean like
a
trainer?
gym leader?
Like a gym leader, Elite Four member,
Gotcha.
character in general that's like, I'm all about electric types. I love electric types.
Okay.
Right,
I've
so-
narrowed it down to like 4. And
Right.
So we have Lieutenant Surge in Gen 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Watson in Gen 3. In Gen 5 we have Elisa. No, actually in Gen 4 we have Elite Four guy. Dude.
Brooding bad boy.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So it's not that. In Gen 6 we have
Yeah, glasses
kid.
guy.
Yeah,
the kid.
the kid.
What his name?
I love
And
your
then-
descriptions. Continue. I know
I'm
all their
bad with
names.
names,
I
okay?
know all their names, and I'm sitting.
I know
Continue.
you, Clement.
Yeah.
And then in Gen 9 we have Iono, and in Gen 7 and 8, who do we have? I'm trying to think, and I can't think of anyone in Gen 8. Can you think of anyone in Gen 7? Shiro?
Alola. Not really, honestly. Not for Alola. Maybe that's...
Because the guy who had the iconic electric type in Alola was your rival, because he had the Alolan Raichu.
Right. And you, because you had, the character, because you had Tapu Koko at some point.
Yeah. But in Gen 8, who's the electric type specialist in Gen 8? Because there's not an Elite Four. And the gyms, I can't remember the last few gyms, but oh gosh. People are probably screaming
Probably.
I am
right now. I know you are.
I know exactly which one you're missing right now.
Yeah. So.
Because I wouldn't say Alolan Raichu was the Gen 7 electric type mouse.
But I mean.
Okay,
You
so
have-
not Gen 7. There's someone there.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. Oh, you're right. See, the reason I got confused is that I thought of Sophocles, and I went, no, he's a steel type trainer,
Steel.
because I was confusing
Right.
him with Moraine, and they're all story together. So yeah, it's Gen 8. It's Sword and Shield.
It's Gen 8? Okay.
Yeah.
Generation 8 is correct. There is no electric type specialist.
I got all turned around by
Which
the
is actually
by the history with
surprising, because
Moraine.
I think they almost got every other type addressed in Gen 8.
Because
like,
they had two
They had
extra
like the
gyms.
they had 2 extra gyms, and then you had a
But
couple
they
other
didn't
side
have-
characters.
Yeah, because Bede is your psychic type leader in a way.
Well, and then you also
they
had
didn't
like
have
you
an
had like
Elite Four,
Avery,
so-
you had like Avery and Clara as well to pick up
Okay,
psychic,
yeah, but they
and
have
poison.
the same type as well.
and then you got Steel with Peony, and yeah,
Well, you had Rose already. Who
Yeah,
was also
that's
a
true,
steel type
that's true.
specialist. He was the villain, so you wouldn't maybe count him, but he was definitely a specialist.
I would count him. I would count it. All right. Well, with that, guys, you are 1 for 1. Our next question is going to come to you from. Let's see. We're going to use the Mighty G. That makes me think of Quinn the Mighty Eskimo, which I'm sure nobody understands that reference, but that's okay.
Absolutely not.
Afraid not.
What is the only 3-stage evolutionary line to never change height between evolutions?
Well, I want to
a
say the
diabolical
scissor
question.
line. I want to say the scissor line immediately, but it could also be the Porygon line.
Ooh, it could be the Porygon line. Well, Porygon line
all of
doesn't
those-
become smaller, though? I think
Porygon
they
might
become
get smaller.
Yeah.
But I think Scizor, Scyther, and Cleavor. But they're not a three-stage.
Exactly.
They're not a three-stage. They're a branched evolution.
Right.
Yeah. What else
Who
could
else
it be?
is the same? Ooh, what about Jumpluff? No,
Hoppip is smaller than Jumpluff. Yeah, because it doesn't have the stuff on top.
Gotcha.
Cotton puff balls.
So 3-stage evolution, all the same size.
I don't think it's because Oddish. I don't know if you count the leaves on its head, so it might be smaller than Gloom and Vileplume.
Yeah,
and also, honestly, heights in Gen 1 are kind of random.
Yeah.
The one that makes the most sense to me is the Porygon one.
Yeah. I mean, something tells me that goes smaller, but I might be really wrong.
It looks like it should be smaller just because Porygon is a chunky boy.
He's chunky and big, yeah.
It's just that I can't think of anything else.
I can't think of anything else either, so I'm willing to go with Polygon.
I know something that stays the same height for sure, but is a 2-stage line, which is Palafin. But
right.
No, I don't know. I don't have any other idea, and unless we want to use the hint. Do you want to use the hint? I don't know if it's worth it.
Second question, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, let's just, if you don't have any better ideas, I think we should go for Porygon.
Yeah. Porygon it is.
Yeah.
Porygon is unfortunately incorrect. You guys weren't close. You never even mentioned it. It is Orbeetle, the Orbeetle line.
What?
Yeah.
Blipbug is as tall as Orbeetle?
Yeah, Orbeetle's actually like really small. If you pay attention, Orbeetle's actually very small.
Huh.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Ball, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would not have gotten it in 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, your next question is your Pokedex entry, as always. This one is going to come to you from Swagzire, only because I like the name better than the other one.
It's a great name.
Its Pokemon Moon entry reads, it has a sad history. In the past, its dorsal fin was treasured foodstuff, so this Pokemon became a victim of overfishing. Who's that Pokemon?
Well, it should be a shark. So it should be Sharpedo. But I don't know. It's weird to have a Pokedex entry about Sharpedo that is not about how vicious or quick it is, but it is an Hawaiian game. So
in my effort of always applying logic and real world events to these Pokedex entries to try to figure out what the Pokemon is, there is a thing about dolphins being hunted for food.
We'll eat dolphins?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, that totally happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, it's not, right, it's not the dolphin.
But there is no dolphin Pokemon in Alola.
Oh, it's Alola? I thought we were in
Pokemon Moon.
Gen.
Pokemon Moon.
I forgot about that. Okay, never mind. Going back.
Let's, what else could it be that has a tasty dorsal fin?
One of the regular fishes, and just it has one, because it does seem like it's not a vicious Pokemon, so my mind goes to Alamanamabamama, or the other one that is like a lame fish,
which is a lot of them.
I know.
There are way too many water types in this game.
There's one that resembles Alamanamama that we think that it's the evolution.
Love Disc, but Love Disc doesn't have a dorsal fin. It has no fins at all.
I thought it was another one. Okay.
I'm gonna
what about this? The one that looks like a flying fish.
Oh yeah, the forgettable one.
Right.
Yeah, Finneon and Luminion. I don't know. I still think that Sharpedo makes the most sense, and we get a second try if we.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's go with Sharpedo.
Sharpedo is correct. Right off the bat. Yeah. The hint entry was gonna
clutch.
the hint entry was going to be from Pokemon Ultra Sun, and it says, people believe that carrying one of its discarded fangs will prevent mishaps at sea. So the fangs are made into accessories.
Yeah, definitely a shark.
So you got 2 for that one.
They were being eaten.
You're up to 3 for 3. Your next question is your multiple answer question, as always. And what we're going to do is we're going to give you this one with a possible... I think we're going to go with a possible 3 points. There are 4 answers. You get 1 point for 1, 2 points for 2, 3 points for 4. That's how we're going to do this. This is from Toganic on the Discord server. And they ask, 4 Gen 3 gym leaders gave out the same TM between Hoenn and Kanto. What are they? So I will accept either
the question, please.
4 Generation 3 gym leaders gave out the same TM between Hoenn and Kanto. So between Ruby and Sapphire and Fire Red and Leaf Green. What are they? They gave out the same TM, the gym leaders, between games.
Okay. It took me a while to understand the question.
Sometimes that happens.
Could you
try
helping me with that? So it means they gave the same TMs as the first 2 games?
So
no. See, that's what I thought.
Yes.
So there are 4 gym leaders across all of Gen 3, so including the Kanto games, the remakes. And all of these 4 people are going to hand you the very same TM.
Gotcha, okay.
Is that right, Thatch?
Yes.
Okay. That said, I have no clue what it could possibly be, so I think it would do as well to use our hint. What do you think, Jushiro? Since we can't cash it in anyway.
Yeah, no, I have no idea, really. I'll be throwing TMs around that I remember getting from those gens, but yeah. No idea. Let's do it.
So, first, all you have to do to figure out which gym leaders these are just match up the types that are in common between the 2 in terms of gyms. So that's the first part of the hint, because this is really hard to give a hint for. I will say 1 move does damage and reduces speed.
Wait, what do you mean 1 move? Is there more than 1 move in that same TM?
No. It's the same TM. I'm trying to give you all 4 TMs.
Yeah.
Wait,
without
you
telling
said
you the type.
They give out the same TM.
There are 4 pairs of gym leaders that gave out the same TM between games.
4 pairs!
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, now I understand the question.
Does that make more sense? Yes. So you just have to match up. You just have to match up the types of gyms that are in common, and you can figure that out probably.
Yes.
But one move does do damage and reduce speed.
Yeah, that sounds like Rock Tomb from
That's correct.
Roxanne and Brock.
That is correct. 1 is a move that never misses.
Yeah.
Ace? Aerial Ace?
Aerial Ace, but who would give you Aerial Ace in Kanto?
Let me finish giving the hints. There's one that never misses. There's one that boosts 2 stats at the same time and does no damage. And then the 4th one is a damaging move with a chance to confuse. And that is it.
Allora, so I think the last one that he mentioned is Water Pulse.
Yeah.
Because you have Misty and either Juan or my guy whose name I am blanking on right
Wallace.
now.
No, but
Wallace, thank you. I think they might both give you Water Pulse.
I agree.
Are you locking that in?
Yeah.
Do we have
You have 3 strikes and then you're out. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Water Pulse.
That is correct. That is 2. You have both Rock Tomb and Water Pulse. There are 2 more.
And
then
a move that never misses and a move that boosts 2 stats at the same time.
Yeah.
2 attack stats, or did you say 2 stats?
2
stats. Hard stop. 2
which
stats.
might be
Build up?
or Calm Mind, because there is no fighting type gym leader in Kanto, but there are Psychic type gym leaders in both regions. You have Sabrina, you have Tate and Liza, so it could be Calm Mind. Do you want to try sending them in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Calm Mind is correct. And then the fourth one is a move that never misses.
Which
So
could
it's
be
not
Magical
Swift.
Leaf, but who would give you that in Hoenn? I don't see anyone giving that away in Hoenn. There is no normal type gym leader, so not in these regions at least. So I don't think it's Swift.
Magical Leaf. There's Racer Wind. Is it? No, Ace. Aerial Ace.
Aerial
Sorry,
Ace.
not Racer. Yeah, Aerial Ace. But who would give that?
In Kanto, no one, because there's a flying type specialist, but he's disguised as a dragon type specialist, and he's not a gym leader. So
Right. Oh man, this last one.
okay. So let's see. What are moves never miss?
Ooh, one. Any
I'm
other
shocked
punches?
you haven't gotten this.
Oh my!
Yeah.
It's obvious.
I'm going through the gym leaders, and I'm trying to think. You have to be patient with me. There are like 85 degrees in this room right now.
Maybe you'll get like a bolt of inspiration.
Yeah, maybe
Is there an electric move that never misses?
you will. I can't think of one.
No, me either.
So maybe
I just Thatch threw us another clue.
Yeah,
with
he
the bolt
did,
of
but I
inspiration.
can't think of a
Okay.
move. So, we get strikes. Maybe they give you Swift. Let's just throw that out there. Since
Okay.
we're going to keep thinking about it.
Swift is incorrect. Just keep
I
riding
bet.
the wave of that thought.
I honestly am blanking on this one completely.
Yeah, it's not a bolt of what?
Yeah. An electric type move that never misses in Gen 3. I don't know
Well,
what...
in any gen, maybe. It's in all
Exactly.
of them.
I'm just saying the move has to have been introduced in
It's
Gen
not
3 or
Thunderbolt,
earlier.
Right? But that's not its thing. I can't recall.
Like it does have
Static
100%
always hits.
accuracy. Thunder Wave doesn't have 100% accuracy now.
Right.
It used to, but it didn't
they dropped it to
always
90.
hit.
But that's not
Like
like its
Toxic.
thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. What do they give you?
Spark, static, none of those, right? Are
You're like saying
100%.
every other electric type move.
I know.
Sure, it's like charge.
Well, does discharge miss? Can discharge miss?
discharge.
I don't
know. But again,
I think
it just feels like that's if the specific clue is it doesn't miss. I feel like that's on the description of the move.
exactly.
So it has less to do with the percent of accuracy and more like much like Swift and Aerial Ace. It's like the move just says this will
bypasses
never
the
miss.
accuracy check.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I
Okay.
can't think
I
of
am
what it is other than the move
shocked.
that
I
I
am
just
shocked.
mentioned. I know, people at home,
Yeah.
I know you're screaming at us. Just
They're yelling the
remember,
exact same words I'm yelling.
You
right
know.
now.
Yeah.
elder
I'm
millennials,
trying.
our memories are failing.
Shockwave doesn't miss. There you go.
Is it Shockwave? Okay. Well,
Shockwave
I didn't even
is
remember that move.
correct.
I didn't even
Shockwave
remember that
is
move
correct.
existed.
I had to learn right now that it never misses because I didn't know that.
Oh, that's
All
a
right.
nice throw
You
at the
guys
wall.
are
It's
6
that
for
pizza
4.
stuck to the wall.
You guys are 6 for 4. Your last question is your base stat question, as always. And I'm going to ask you, what water type Pokemon has the highest base attack?
Ooh.
Including Megas?
Yeah.
Okay. Mega Sharpedo?
I don't think I don't know. How much does it have?
Right. There's so many water types.
There are many water types. A couple of which are like Primal or whatever,
Right.
Palkia and Dialga, but those tend to hit specially, so maybe they don't have like 170 base attack.
I'm thinking Mega Was there a Mega for Kingler or the Lobster? I forgot.
No, there's a Mega Swampert and a Mega Blastoise, but Mega Swampert had slightly more balanced stats.
Right.
You really need a hero.
Yeah. Oh, we do, right? So the one that is actually taller, that it's pre-evolution.
Yeah.
Hero form, Palafin.
Yeah.
That is correct.
My favorite
Hero
gen-
form Palafin has a base 160 attack.
That's awesome.
I was sure.
Followed by Mega Gyarados at 155 and Mega Swampert and Primal Kyogre at 150.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So it is a Palafin hero form. You guys got 7 points for that today. So that does change up the standings.
Because you like us.
Because I'm very nice. In our race to see who gets to the top by the beginning of December, or at least in the top 4, I think. I think you just need to be in the top 4 now. You don't actually even need to be in the top. We've got Bocephus at number 1 with 23 points. We've got Seth Vilo, Claude9, and Whimsicott in a 3-way tie for second with 21 points. I also done added Sharks points. Let me do that while I remember. In 5th place, we've got our Sigma with 18 points. In 6th place, we have a 2-way tie between Sublime and Shark with 14 points. In 8th place, we've got Jushiro with 12. And in 9th, we've got Linian with 8. And in 10th, Shamu with 6. It's still anybody can get to that top 4. So it's anybody's game. And we'll see how that translates in December. But with that said, guys, we are going to jump into our topic. Hey, Thatch here. A lot of you have been asking how you can hang out with us during the week. Well, the best way to do so is come to our Discord server at puclpodcast.com. You can join our server and you can hang out with us, talk Pokemon, battle, do a bunch of cool things, join in our tournaments. So what's stopping you? Come on over, puclpodcast.com. You can jump right on in and have a good time talking with the hosts of the show, as well as the large community we've gathered over the years. So come on, let's hang out. Welcome to our topic. Our topic today is going to be Pokemon Worlds. Things that happen. Anything fun? Kind of. I don't know. I mean, we did get a TCG Pocket update, which is nice. I really appreciated that. That is what
Oh, when is that coming out? I'm super interested in that.
October 30th.
Yeah, we got that date. October 30th. You can preload it, I think, now.
Oh, okay, will do. Thanks. That's awesome.
You can pre-register on the App Store and the Play Store.
I'm pretty sure this is going to be almost exactly like the Duel Links equivalent for Pokemon. If you're familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's going to be a slightly different rule set, but you can still play with the cards. And some of the cards they showed off that are like exclusive to the game are actually really pretty.
I just want like my tiny dopamine hit of opening 2 packs a day. You know.
I think it's just going to be, I think it'll be a good time. I know a lot of the TCG community's like really upset about it because Pokemon TCG Live is kind of like, they feel it's neglected. Like, as somebody who is a regular on that client, I don't entirely disagree, but I also think that it is a bear of a piece of software to keep updated as well as they would like it to be.
Right, and again, and I was just gonna say that my thing with, and as I grow older, it just becomes a thing. I dislike matches that go on for way too long.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I find myself that I stopped playing Unite specifically because 10-minute matches were getting on my nerves.
Oh, really?
Like, I dislike...
I think 10 minutes is fine. The problems I have.
No, well, let me put it this way.
With like with TCG Live, I mean, in terms of timing, it's not 10 minutes. It's when my opponent, like when I've taken 2 turns that have taken 3 minutes of my time on the clock, and they've somehow spent 13 minutes playing the game. Like those are the ones that bother me. Right,
but that's what I mean. Right, like, and that's why I'm excited for Pocket, because Pocket looks like an alternative where I can play TCG and not be annoyed of how long a match goes on. Yeah, there's something about just having long matches nowadays that they get me on my nerves. I want matches to be on 5 minutes or less. Like, come on, quick.
I think 10's like the sweet, like 10 to 15 is the sweet spot for me. Like, I could never play a League of Legends match because those apparently like 45 minutes or something.
I think for me, the thing is, recently I was like, oh yeah, trading card games are fun and you could go to League and stuff. But then I was like, okay, so I'm going to download the TCG client. And I downloaded it and I opened it and they were like, and now we're going to show you how to play a game of TCG. And I was like, this is really complex. I'm old. I have a job. I'm tired. I don't know that I want to relearn something so complex and keep up with the meta and keep up with the cards.
Don't say those words to somebody who plays Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh my gosh. They'll go on.
Exactly. And so the thing is, this is not for people who want the TCG. This is for people who want a lighter, easier, more approachable version of the TCG, because the Pokemon Company knows that they have a casual audience for the video game, but a casual audience for the TCG, apart from people who spend a ton of money just collecting the sets, not so much. So maybe there's like a pool of users that they can pick up with that.
I also think it's a good onboarding tool, in all honesty. Like, I think what might happen is, maybe not you guys particularly, but like other people who pick up this game might go, oh man, I want more of this.
Yeah, and go to the TCG.
Or maybe I want like a little bit more depth than what I'm getting now. And I think you just go to the Pokemon TCG and you've got that. And I think that transition will happen.
Mm-hmm. And for the Pokemon Company, it's a win-win.
They're also really pushing, like play Pokemon in general. I have gotten fed so many ads on YouTube and Facebook that are just like it's just like, go to Pokemon League.
Huh. Curious.
I don't know why they have ads for that.
They don't.
Pokemon League doesn't make them money, with the exception of just like
the cards.
Yeah, you're going to the store and you might buy product or something.
Yeah. I don't know that I have never seen one of those in Europe. In spite of the fact that my entire YouTube is just Pokemon videos. So might be a local thing.
Yeah, I have no idea. But yeah,
there's also probably the fact that Pokemon knows I'm in my 40s. Google. So maybe they know that I wouldn't go to Pokemon League.
So yeah, Pokemon Worlds happened last week. Outside of that, there wasn't much else announced, honestly.
We just covered the strongest part. Bucket is coming in October.
Woohoo! I mean,
I literally called this last week because Claude and I were talking, and I love doing this with Claude because Claude will disagree with me vehemently, and I really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I'm like, I expect zero announcements outside of like maybe a Pokemon Pocket release date.
There were people like streaming.
I'm vindicated.
There were people on YouTube streaming the announcement to do their live reaction, thinking there were going to be video game news. And it was so sad.
It doesn't make any sense for there to be. Legends E-A isn't going to be the next competitive game, and they only make a competitive announcement.
At Worlds, exactly.
I think hoping for anything else is just I mean, they did announce like the new TCG cards like we talked about earlier, which I think is very exciting. Like Marnie was the third trainer they talked about. That's it. They showed Marnie's Pokemon, they showed Lily's Pokemon, they showed Anne's Pokemon, and
obviously I only saw Anne out of that. Like everything else was a blur, but
in the trailer, which was it's actually a really cool trailer. Anne did get the most screen time anyway, and the most number of Pokemon revealed.
They know what people like.
That, and they were like really hyping up the Zoroark that was very similar to the GX Zoroark from back in the day.
Bringing it to the game, I also do like that we had that generation, I think it was Black and White 2, where you could capture N's Pokemon.
N's Pokemon. Oh, yeah.
I wish they would bring that back. Not like specifically N's Pokemon, but any other, every generation to have. Oh man, I wish they would, because that was cool. I love the fact that, Well, N was also special because the lore was that N was battling with the Pokemon and then releasing them right away.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the lore for N, so it makes sense for that.
But that was cool. Anyway, yeah.
Now you've made me even sadder that the next game is not going to be Gen 5.
Yeah, that's a generation we really need. I just feel it's just a great generation that is a little bit, because it was in the last, hinges of the 3DS. DS, sorry.
Oh, it'll come back. It'll come back in a little bit.
There's time. I think they were like, I initially thought so as well. Like, I was like, why not Gen 5? It's next in line. But then I remembered that they did have an entire game that got scrapped, which was Pokemon Z. And they were like, okay, it's a good time to release a Legends game. And they went like, these two things can go together. And I bet we're going to get a really, really, really cool game. And so I'm like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited for it. Yeah, for sure.
Now I'm 100% behind this decision. Like, we get Pokemon Z.
Oh, no, same, for sure, yeah.
I'm all for them in general, like, because, well, the problem is, like, if they do black and white, like they did Diamond and Pearl, people are going to be mad for whatever reason. And
I am going to be mad, yes.
And I wouldn't be mad. I thought Shining BDSP is actually, like, a pretty fun game, the way it is.
I'm going to be very, very, very fair. It is a great game that is ruined by its Pokedex.
How's it ruined by its Pokedex? Are you just mad about Dexit?
No, me mad about Dexit? Are you kidding me? No. Of all people, Thatch, come on.
I was going to say, I was like, Jushiro, what's going on?
No, because Pokemon Diamond and Pearl had in my opinion, one of the worst Pokedexes. In terms of, like, barely any fire types,
They fixed that with the Underground, Jushiro.
Maybe I didn't get far enough in the game. I know I stopped once I'm like, I see no Pokemon that I want to take to...
Well, I didn't read the book, but the book was awful. Yeah, that's what you just did, okay?
Well, I played the original Diamond and Pearl Thatch. I just didn't...
So did I. And I would say BDSP is a superior experience.
Of course it is, but it's only superior in that it looks nicer and it runs faster.
No. I don't want to get into this now for the Pokemon Worlds episode, but...
Okay, yeah.
Open up a can of wool.
I will defend BDSP.
Some other time.
As much as it wasn't what I wanted. It is perfectly fine for what it is.
Perfectly adequate.
It is. No.
Yes, it is edible food.
No, it had the hardest gym leaders in the entire franchise. It has the most interesting gym battles in any Pokemon game.
See, now you're making me want to download it again.
It has the Pokedex is fine because they remedy it by giving you all the same Platinum Pokemon just in the Underground as a little extra incentive to actually use the new feature. So you do have the actual Platinum decks available to you. It's just nobody paid attention. People just wanted to complain. It's kind of the same reason the Acolyte got canceled.
Oh my god, don't get me on that. I'm so furious.
Yeah, I know. I knew Jushiro was here.
Oh god, yes. Let's just skip right over there, because I will become...
That is not the reason. But...
yeah.
But okay, I continue. I digress. Pokemon Worlds happened. Let's start with video game stuff. Whimsicott, you watched more of it than I did.
Yes, because so first things first, I was out the first day of Worlds, and I come home at night, and obviously, time zones. So I sit down, and the round 2 matches are just starting, and I click the stream on, and everyone in the stream is like super mega excited because the next match is Aaron Zhang versus Sejun Park. And Sejun Park has the Pachirisu. Sejun Park brought the Pachirisu back. Yes.
I saw some good comments about this actually on social media. Somebody made some good comments about how what Pokemon's really missing to make it a really breakout esport is showmanship. And Sejun Park knows how to do that. He brought the Pachirisu because he knew it would be a showmanship play and he can make it work. He wasn't trying to win. He was just trying to make it a good time and something fun to watch.
Right.
Yes.
I do agree with that we need more of that in Pokemon VGC. I think sometimes the competitors get caught up in the meta and wanting to make sure that they build the most competitively viable thing ever. But I think Sejun captures the fun.
Yes, exactly. Which is what I love.
Yeah. I've always said that it's, that's why I've always disliked when they add legendaries and stuff to the whole thing on Worlds. I just don't like it because, yeah, they're the strongest Pokemon and you can build a team around them that are strong, but I like it when it's really restricted because it makes players be more fun. Trying to figure out and using Pokemons that no one uses or are used very little to make fun things happen. And that to me is the key of making it fun. Like,
the thing is, like, I understand that you have to have a meta valid team to make it to, the finals or even to the top 8, just because it is at this point an extremely competitive game. Extremely competitive. There are so many people playing, so many people putting so much effort into it, and not just by themselves. Like, there are communities that spend time together, like putting together these teams, these sets, these Pokemon. And it's really hard to do well if you don't adapt to that level of play. But on the other hand, you are Sejun Park and you brought a Pachirisu back to Pokemon Worlds. Like, that is what I'm going to remember next year. I'm not going to remember what set the winners were running on their restricted Pokemon. But speaking of the winners...
I agree with you.
I also watched the finals because I got a message in the kind of the middle of the night from Linian that was like, "Oh, Italy won Worlds again." And not only did Italy win Worlds again, we won with a Whimsicott. Now, to be fair, the Whimsicott did not take the field in the final match, but
it was there.
It was there.
It had battle aura.
It is a world champion.
Right.
No, it was actually all of
Even the bench gets football rings.
Gets a medal, yes. But yeah, no, the finals were very exciting. All three of the final, like the junior, the senior, and the masters VGC finals were very exciting. But yeah, it was very much like, what can my okay, the play style is about my restricted Pokemon, definitely. Although I have to say that possibly the absolute MVP in the team that Luca Ceribelli used to win might have been the Farigiraf and the Urshifu, not the Miraidon. So, sometimes the support Pokemon...
Farigiraf is actually a really good Pokemon in this meta.
It's incredibly good. I saw it do things.
It's what Serena wanted to be when Sun and Moon came out. Like, it is. It just blocks all priority, and it's amazing. The typing isn't bad either. Like, I think grass typing is just a little meh.
Yeah.
But I think the psychic normal typing is actually very beneficial. And not on top of that, Girafarig can do other things, like it can Trick Room, it has access to Imprisoned, it's got a bunch of stuff. It's got a bunch of utility.
As a person that would see normal much like the weaker link of all Pokemon, but I know now that that's not that's not true. And at first I thought of normal, like any Pokemon other than flying that had normal as its base was kind of dumb. And then now I realized, no, it's actually pretty freaking awesome. Normal is a very good defensive type, and it provides...
Well, especially in like modern day restricted formats, because you do have like Shadow Rider Calyrex that exists and likes to Astral Barrage.
Who is one of the best Pokemon ever.
And so Shadow Rider Calyrex comes out and you've got Farigiraf, you're just going to stop that.
And besides, like, if you have Terra, like, okay, say you have a bad matchup in that match because you are a normal type, you're not a normal type anymore. So
Terra does make the game a lot different than it was back then as well. Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
Very different. Very different. Like, there was a play I saw, I don't think it was in the Masters final. I think it might have been in the seniors or the juniors final. But yeah, Terra just completely stopped the move and turned the match around. And it was really awesome to see. Like, completely turned the match on its head in one move. It was a really, really cool call. And no, yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. And, but again, one thing that I will remember is Luca had to apologize on Twitter to his opponent, Yuta. Oh gosh, what's his name? Yuta Ishigaki. Because he was so excited after he won that instead of shaking Yuta's hand, he jumped off the stage and went to like a giant group hug with all of his friends who are like on his same like team of competitive Pokemon. Like they have the same jersey. They make the teams together. One of them is a former Italian world champion of Pokemon, Arashi Mati. Like, that is the community I was talking about. Those people didn't go to Worlds alone, you know? And that was actually...
Oh yeah, nobody goes to Worlds alone. Nobody goes to Worlds alone.
Exactly. You need a team behind you. You need a team around you.
Especially now with the new like restrictions to get there. Like you need somebody to get you there.
You need an entourage.
And in a way, it's not amazing because it's like, oh, I could never do it alone. But in another, it's like, this is a good opportunity to maybe make a couple of new friends and do something with other people if this is your passion. So there's a quote from my favorite anime. At the very end of Yuri on Ice, Yuri's voiceover says something like, there are some dreams that are just too big to reach alone. So you have to have other people with you, essentially.
No, I agree with that. No, I mean, it's the same way, not just in like the VGC, but also like the TCG. Like you have people that build decks together and test together and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's usually a team of people that get together, which I think this is a good segue. We can move on to that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, in TCG, we had like a lot of like really ridiculous stuff happen because they didn't do... So I love the way VGC handled the top cut this year in that there were no bubbles. Like if you were just X2, you went to a bracket and that's awesome. I think that's the way they should handle it, especially at the Worlds level. Like no bubbling at Worlds, please. For those of you at home, that means like it used to be they would take the top 8, but if you had the same record as somebody who got like 8th place or something, they would actually look at how well your opponents did throughout the tournament. And that is honestly just like a dice roll. And whoever had the quote unquote hardest schedule was the one who would move on. And so you could get the same record as somebody else and not make top 8 than they did.
Which is dumb.
So for VGC, I loved it. In TCG, they changed it differently. They made it a little bit differently. They did an asymmetrical top cut. What that means is they essentially like had play-ins for people who had the same record near the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And so like we did it. They had a thing where, you know, I think there was like one extra person. Like they technically had like a top 9.
Okay.
So like the person that the 8th and 9th place person they just played a game against each other and they saw who won. And that person got the top 8 slot.
That makes a ton of sense to me.
And I actually really prefer that. I do really prefer that.
It's a tiebreaker, essentially.
I do like when time allows. I do think that's the better way to do it. I don't know if you could do that at regionals, but I hear they are starting to do those at regionals now. And we'll see. I mean, I could have gotten my information incorrectly from Sigma, but who knows?
If you are good enough at organizing that you can allow the time for that in case it's necessary.
I think being able to do tournaments like this is just way fairer and way more fun. At least from like a viewership perspective, I think it's way more fun.
I also agree.
But the deck that won was Iron Thorns EX. A lot of people were just like, oh, it's kind of a bummer it won. I think this is an amazing meta call. This was just an insane meta call made by Fernando. He found this crazy gap in the meta that people weren't respecting Iron Thorns. Iron Thorns EX, for those of you who do not play the TCG, which is a vast majority of you, has this ability called initialization, which means when Iron Thorns EX is in the active spot, no other Pokemon with rule boxes, so no Pokemon V, no Pokemon EX, no Radiant Pokemon, have abilities. And so many of the meta decks right now are those.
Are based on abilities of those types of card.
Are based on abilities of those Pokemon.
And when you only have Iron Thorn EX, they are always your active Pokemon.
They're always in the active when all you're playing are 4 of them, so... like I would explain to you the strategy of the game, but it's literally just that, and you play some disruption cards like Crushing Hammer, which discards energies if you flip heads. He was also playing one copy of Giovanni's Charisma, which I think is a really cute tech, which is put an energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon into their hand, and then you get to attach an extra energy from your hand. So you get to slow down their energy acceleration quite a bit, because one, they're not using abilities, so like Lugia is not working like at all this entire match. There are ways around this. There are tech cards for this that just nobody was really playing heavily. I mean, there's one of copies in a lot of people's decks, but they have like no way to search it or something like that. You can play like Canceling Cologne, something to that effect that would really slow the game down. Yeah, and it was just wonderful meta call. I don't know that there was anything that, he did wrong in that scenario. I mean, there of course was like some controversy because he did lose his first top 8 match to another competitor who made an obscene gesture at Worlds, and they decided that he was no longer going to be in the tournament, so they moved Fernando on instead of him. And people were upset they moved Fernando on instead of just giving the next guy the auto win or something like that. Which is fine. I mean, that it's whatever. If the deck was beatable, they should have beat. I mean, the deck that got in second was actually super interesting too. I think a lot of people weren't expecting it because it was like both top decks, like in the top tournament, were none of the top decks that anybody thought were coming to Worlds, for the record. The other one was Roaring Moon EX, which has like an attack that can just like auto KO an opponent's Pokemon, and it doesn't rely on abilities except for like a couple of Pokemon. So like it can still kind of function. It can still kind of function under Iron Thorns EX. And
it was an exciting match.
Yeah, it was actually not like, it wasn't just like, oh, this other guy can't do anything. It was actually an exciting match. It was based on like a couple of it came down to a couple of top decks each side. So yeah, I mean, I actually really like this deck, and I'm probably going to build it because I think Roaring Moon is just a lot of fun. And being able just to like say, hey, I just knock you out is also a lot of fun. But you run like Roaring Moon EX, who can do that. There is another attack it has as well. Because when you use the attack that auto knocks out, you do like 200 damage to yourself, which is a lot. It has 230 HP, so like it's most of its HP. They just came out with, in the latest set that came out at the beginning of August, Petrarunt EX, because both Petrarunt and Roaring Moon are dark type Pokemon in the TCG. Petrarunt has an ability that says you can switch one of your dark type Pokemon into the active spot once per turn. The caveat is you do get poisoned if that happens. That's not enough to stop a Roaring Moon EX from coming in and just nomming, right? And Petrarunt's attack's not useless either. For 2 dark energy, it does 60 times the number of prizes your opponent's taken. So like late game, Petrarunt can just come in and take knockouts. Pretty good. Like, it's a fun deck. It's a really, really fun deck. I think it's a fun deck to play. And if you are interested in getting into the TCG, I think it's not like a super high ceiling, because the decks that people were really expecting to do well were like Regidrago, which Regidrago did take like four of the top 8 slots, for the record.
Oh, wow.
Regidrago is a pretty good deck right now.
I bet if it has to be in the 4 of the top 8.
Yeah, it's so fun though. It's a fun deck to play. I will say it's a little bit more technical than some of the others, but it's really fun. I always like to say it is. Dragapult EX came out a couple sets ago, and people were like scared that it was going to take over the meta. It turns out that Dragapult is actually like on its own a really slow deck. Regidrago is probably the best Dragapult deck. It's very fun. And I mean, Lugia did pretty well. Miraidon actually got like a showing. Miraidon EX. Everybody thought Miraidon EX was a dead deck now, but it's not. It's still doing a lot of fun stuff. That I might sit down and rebuild as well, just because that looked like a lot of fun. Like Miraidon was just a fun deck to play beforehand. Now it's a little bit more technical, but it's still fun. Yeah, if I were to recommend like any 2 decks out of this to play, like there was a Raging Bolt Ogerpon that's essentially what a Regidrago does. I would recommend something like that, or once again I would play the Roaring Moon deck. I think that's a lot of fun. So everybody looking to get into it, that's what you can do. It was exciting though to see like 2 decks that honestly, like the top 3 decks are just decks that nobody expected to actually make it that far. To see that's the best part about Worlds, is like people usually bring out the sauce. Both in VGC and TCG. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It always is.
It's a lot of fun, and it always gets me like a little bit hyped. You know, it always gives me like good feelings watching Worlds.
Yeah, especially because like beyond the competitive aspect, it's like you see all of those people happy to be there, happy to be celebrating game that they love. It's very nice.
It was a good time. But yeah, all right, everybody. With that said, I'm gonna cut us off here. Got a couple more segments to get through, so we're gonna try to get through those.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Pokemon of the episode. So what did you guys think about Worlds? Did you watch it? How did you enjoy it? Let us know at puclpodcast@gmail.com. But until then, we're going to kick it on over to our Pokemon of the episode. So we will catch you on the flip-flop.
Poke of the episode.
Welcome to our Pokemon of the episode. Our Pokemon of the episode this week is National X number 1008, Miraidon, the Paradox Pokemon.
Its Pokemon Violet Pokédex entry states, this seems to be the Iron Serpent mentioned in an old book. The Iron Serpent is said to have turned the land to ash with its lightning.
1008.
Thank God they didn't call it Iron Serpent. Thank God. What an uncreative name.
Holy snaps.
1008. We're at 1025 right now, Jushiro.
I know, it's just every time I hear about it, it's just insane.
Yeah. So we've got Miraidon. Miraidon, it won Worlds in VGC, and I thought it was only appropriate to give it its moment in the sun. Dragon Electric type, the superior Zekrom. It is. It literally has just like Tapu Koko's electric terrain ability, right? And Hadron Engine. Yeah, it's even better, right? Yeah, Hadron Engine is just an insane ability. It gives you electric terrain. Would you
like a free boost?
And gives you a boost on top
terrain?
Of yeah. It's ridiculous.
A boost that doesn't even like count as a stat boost, so it stacks with your stat boost?
Yes, it's insane.
Wow.
Yeah, Miraidon is just very good. Miraidon is just a very, very good Pokemon. And I
think he's adorable. I have to say, I love his design. It's probably the only design from Violet that I like.
Really? Oh, you mean in terms of like the Paradox Pokemon?
All these, yeah.
You think okay? In terms of Paradox Pokemon, I agree with you.
Yeah,
wait,
exclusively
guys,
Paradox.
Guys. So I agree with you on most of them, but Iron Valiant, come on.
It's fine.
First, I can see the appeal for other people. It just doesn't do it for me.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
I could see why you or someone else might like it. But for me, I'm just not into it. But yeah, Miraidon is a very good Pokemon. It is base speed of 135, very fast. Base special attack 135 with the Hadron Engine. That's even better. Defenses aren't even bad. Base 100 defense, base 115 defense. Minimal attack in 85 and 100 HP. Like everything about this is just like it's on the up and up. Very few weaknesses, and when you tear it into Fairy like they did in the VGC tournament, it's like it's just a great Pokemon. It also gets its own move in Electro Drift, which is just like base 100 electric type move, and gets an additional 33% if the move is super effective. For some reason, it's just even better.
Yeah,
and it gets boosted by electric terrain. This is just wins all around. The wins just keep coming.
Arceus was very generous with him.
Yeah, and I mean, on top of that, you get like dragon coverage. You get so much coverage. Oh my gosh. And you get dazzling gleam. You get it's insane. And I mean, for those of you at home who don't know what sets were run at Worlds, it was choice specs Miraidon, so you just even hit harder with Hadron Engine, obviously, Fairy Terra type, Electro Drift, Draco Meteor, Dazzling Gleam, Volt Switch, win, all these wins.
Yep.
It's just insane. Like, it's so good. It's so good. So yeah, I mean, and also on top of that, electric terrain is a fantastic terrain to have because a lot of people's answers in VGC are something like Amoonguss, where it tries to spore you. And electric terrain prevents that. Yeah, it's just it's so good. It's so good. And you know what's even worse is like Miraidon. Well, so Miraidon got third place in the TCG, which is also insane. I don't remember. I think it happened once. There was like once where like the same Pokemon won the TCG and the video game at the same year. And Miraidon was actually very close to doing that. So let me see if I can, I want to find the cards. I know the cards off the top of my head, but I want to like make sure that I give you the correct sets and everything. But there's a couple of Miraidon cards that are actually like really good in the TCG right now. The most notable one obviously being Miraidon EX, which is the one that did really well at Worlds. There are several Miraidon EXs, by the way. I'm talking about the Miraidon EX from base set Scarlet and Violet, none of the other Miraidon EXs. But this one, nobody cares about the attack. That's 2 electric and a colorless for 220, and then you just can't use it the next turn. But it does have the ability called Tandem Unit, which is a double nest ball for electric types. Which means, like, as soon as you get a Miraidon on your bench, you could just be like, okay, I'm going to grab 2 more electric type Pokemon. And then one of those electric type Pokemon that you grab from your deck can be Miraidon again.
Oh, wow.
And so you can just do it again. So Miraidon, it was why Miraidon was very good early on in the TCG as well. And when it first came out. And so I'm happy to see that it did very well once again. There is also a baby Miraidon card that sees some play. It actually won a regional not too long ago. It was from Temporal Forces. And it's a baby Miraidon with only 110 HP dragon type. You don't use it for its second attack, but you use it for its first attack. That's 1 colorless and does 40 damage. And typically what you do is you play this with a bunch of Iron Crowns and Iron Hands. But you use this attack. It's called Peak Acceleration. It does 40 damage, but if you have some Iron Crowns on the bench, it could do even more. And it allows you to just search your deck for 2 basic energy cards and attach them to your future Pokemon in any way you like. And so it's a really good energy acceleration. And if you pair it with Iron Hands, who uses electric type energy, you can combine that with electric generators, and you can theoretically get like a 4 energy attack off turn 2.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's very fun. Like, that deck is a lot of fun. Like, Jushiro, if you want a helmet deck, that's a helmet deck for you to play. Okay.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun, and Iron Hands EX actually has an attack that if you get a knockout with that attack, you actually get to take an extra prize card. So you can theoretically take like a 3 prize turn.
Wow.
Which is really fun as well. So just more food for thought for everybody. More food for thought. But yeah, that is I don't know if I have anything else to say about Miraidon other than it's like really cool and it's really good.
Yeah, one of my favorites on Violet.
I wish I could have Miraidon, but have all of the ancient Paradox Pokemon.
Same.
That's what I want. Because I just don't feel like Miraidon. Koraidon's okay, but Miraidon is certainly better.
Thank you.
But Koraidon is cuter.
Do you think so? I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
Miraidon is pretty cute.
So there's look, Miraidon is very cute, but Koraidon has something that makes it have the chance to make even goofier faces when he's asking for sandwiches. Koraidon has a tongue.
That's true.
And Miraidon doesn't.
That's true.
So
that's true. Yeah, Koraidon is more
like
Koraidon's a dog better. And Miraidon's a cat. Like that's how I envision it.
Well, they both act like dogs. It's just that one of the dogs has feathers, which I like. So
and a tongue.
Yeah, and a tongue.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. I don't know if I have anything else to say. This is like one of the shorter segments for this. Mostly because we've given everybody else a long short show. Oh, go ahead.
I found a really cool trivia entry. Okay. And I'm gonna read it off. So you know that Miraidon and Koraidon have modes like the riding mode, the flying mode, okay. So in Japanese and Korean, the modes have different names between Miraidon and Koraidon. The names for the Miraidon modes are derived from English because that's more modern, while the names for the Koraidon modes are derived from Sino-Japanese words because they're
interesting.
Ancient. That's really cool.
That is really cool.
English modern.
English modern. Yeah.
Look, I'm old enough that the first language I learned in school was French because that was the language you learned in Europe back in the 80s.
Yeah,
the 90s.
That makes sense.
And then we started realizing, oh, everyone is speaking English. We should teach English to our kids as well. But I learned French before I learned English. So it is modern to me.
The modern language is emojis.
Well, Miraidon does do that in its eyes.
That is true.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for Pokemon of the episode. We are going to go ahead, guys, and kick it on over to our mailbag.
It's mail time! Send in your emails! Mail!
Welcome to our mailbag. The mailbag is the part of the show where you can email us at puclpodcast@gmail.com and let us know what you think. Our question last week was, what unanswered questions do you have about the Pokemon franchise? So we are going to go through and start reading these here in a moment. Selection, at least. There were a lot of emails this week, surprisingly. I didn't think we'd actually get this many. But before I forget, this segment is brought to you by the fictional energy drink Green Tauros, the energy drink that gives you hooves.
Hooves!
And we'll give out the Green Tauros badge to anybody we deem worthy. But with that said, we are going to start it off with Umbreon 1080 this week.
All right, I've got this one. It's been a while, Puckledile. I like that. Pokemon has many unanswered questions, and it feels like a majority of them were never meant to be answered or examined too much. Like the multiple ghost girls, or the Hex Maniac in Auras that says the same thing as the Lumia's ghost. Was that just astral projection? Who knows? But a big unanswered question is how are new Pokemon discovered when they are just living in the region that is a short train ride away? Or the invention of new evolution items. Who is experimenting on Pokemon to make those work? Silph can't be the default answer for all of them. Of course, the real reason is game mechanics, but what is going on in the universe? Anyways, that's all I have for now. Until next time, Umbreon 1080. So we should try answering these questions because they're good.
Oh, it's super easy because, like, actually, okay, so, I mean, when they're common Pokemon, sure, it's a little confusing. I do mark it up to, like, just a lack of communication between Pokemon regions and professors, which I do think is a thing. That's how we get, like, quote unquote new Pokemon. I think the in-universe reason is getting better with Dexit, if that makes sense. We're switching only to regional dexes anyway, so there's no dex that's just like, these are all the Pokemon.
I have a similar, but slightly different theory.
Okay.
Based on real-world attitudes of people, much like you and me, Western people, which is, oh, we discovered a new land. We discovered a new animal, and the native people of the land are like, we've known about this for thousands of years, but go off, I guess.
And we're like, shut up, we just discovered this.
Look at this new thing we just found.
Exactly. Exactly. So it doesn't count until you have discovered it. Like, those Jotonians, they know nothing.
Yeah. That actually, you just described why we have regional Pokedex.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is why we have regional Pokedexes.
It's because the Pokemon world is as bad, if not worse, at cultural relativism as ours is.
They really don't like to share. They like to trade Pokemon day and night. Information,
You're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Oh, all right. Well, thank you for that one. I've got this next one from the Aussie Crocodile. G'day, Puckle Crew. I think that's an Australian accent. I don't know.
It was actually pretty good. Better than whatever I would have done.
I know it's been a while. This email is completely off topic, or it might not be. I'm sending this on a Friday. That could be close. That could be dangerous. Sometimes we record on a Friday. Today we did not. And it involves a whole lot of speculation / rumors, which I know you guys don't usually cover. We do cover speculation. It's just, but how many speculation episodes can you really do, like, between trailers?
Yeah.
Since changing jobs and my wife not caring about Pokemon, I've got no one to chew the fat with regarding my beloved franchise, so I'm going to share my thoughts instead. Come to the Puckle Discord. You have so many people that will do that with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember back when Thatch famously predicted that we were going to Kalos for the next Legends game. To be fair, everybody hypes this up, including myself, that I predicted this. But it was more of like an offhand of like, yeah, I think this could happen.
This is the same way that I literally almost typed, oh yeah, we're gonna get like Pokemon Blade and Parry like 5 minutes before they revealed Sword and Shield in the trailer. And I was like, oh, I should have typed that. Damn it.
I literally just said, oh, there's no Zacian or Yveltal. The last time they did something like this, we ended up getting a game like with BDSP. So like something Kalos could happen.
Yeah.
That's all I said. That's all I said. And I'm like, there's like a 10% chance this happens. I want to double down on this prediction and boldly say that Legends ZA will unlock the grayout area in the Paldea map by having save data unlock a Kalos area in the Scarlet and Violet games. This is so wishful thinking, and I wish you were correct, but we know it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Hear me out. It is rumored that Kalos is in close proximity to Paldea, and to add to that theory, 3 trainers near the Great Wall of Disappointment have 3 Kalos native Pokemon that you battle.
The Great Wall of Disappointment, I love that.
I love the name for that. I love that, yeah. Paldea doesn't have access to the Generation 6 legendaries yet, which was enough for Thatch's prediction to hold some weight. I can't imagine Gen 10 coming out for a while. At this point, I'm very confident it's like 2026 is Gen 10.
Yeah, for the anniversary, definitely.
I'm very confident. Can't imagine Gen 10 coming out for a fair while, so VGC would need an additional influx of Pokemon to keep that interesting. Although I'm loving the Regulation H rule set, Choice Band Mousehold paired with Gravity Sableye, it would be an amazing opportunity to merge 2 mechanics into the one game, Mega versus Terra, both pretty simple mechanics at their core. I do think it would be like a really good olive branch to the community if we did have to wait a whole year for Generation 10 to put some, like, update Scarlet and Violet so you could transfer some of the new Pokemon into it, because I'm sure there'll be new Pokemon. I do think it would be a really good olive branch, but I don't think it'll happen. Because there's development time that goes into that, and they don't get anything for it, really, right? Though I think it would be more of an incentive to buy ZA if you only want to buy, like, Scarlet and Violet and stuff like that. But
yeah, like, they didn't let the Hisui Pokemon go back to Sword and Shield.
I think it would be really cool if they would have, though, and I think that's something they could still open up as a possibility. I also don't think anything Sword and Shield did is a precedent. I'll be honest with you. We got the DLC, sure, but I do think it was like the awkward growing pains of coming onto a full console. Let's see, where was I? It would be an amazing opportunity to merge 2 mechanics. And if not, what the Psyduck is the area for? It's just there to show you that Paldea is not just an island. That's pretty much it. It's just to make it look like the Iberian Peninsula. I can't imagine in 20 years' times people will be speculating what it was for and that an additional content that was scrapped or something. That would make it into a Did You Know gaming video. I just wanted to get ahead of the curve.
I love that.
To be realistic, though, I don't think this is how it's going to play out, as it would be too good to be true having a game with the addition of more DLC for Scarlet and Violet. Wouldn't that be good, though? They could just do that. Like, that would have been really good. Like, I would buy a second year of DLC for these games. Anyway, these were my thoughts. I would love to hear yours. Thanks again, the Aussie Crocodile. Well, you got ours along the way. All right. Our last email today is going to be from Domobot. And Jushiro, you've got this one.
Hey, Poker Crew. It's been a while, and I was listening to the episode of Pokemon Misconceptions, and I thought I would chime and go in. Yeah, y'all hit the nail on the head on most of them. Even the pronunciation is facade, which... Facade. You did the exact same thing that we were talking about, though, so thanks for the demo, Jushiro.
Yep.
The problem is they don't put the little symbol under the C.
They don't.
The little French thingy.
Yeah.
I know it's not spelled with that in English, but I always want to put it there.
But I have 2 misconceptions of my own. The first being the pronunciations of Kyogre. Or Kyogre? He might have typed that. I was 10.
Kyrogue? Kyrogue is what he said, I think.
Yeah.
Kyogre. Pronounce it Kyrogue.
Okay. I was 10 when Ruby and Sapphire came out, and for some reason I used to pronounce it Kyrogue, which to this day sounds better name to me. Honestly, it does. I learned the correct pronunciation by none of my new friends. when none of my friends knew what Pokemon I was talking about, and I described the big whale that wasn't Wailord. The second misconception was that I thought that Dunsparce evolved into Gligar because of the wings and big tails and kind of similar body shapes. Also, Gligar came right after Dunsparce in the Pokédex, so I just thought that it was doing the correct method of evolution. I know. A little bit of reach, but I was a kid. Anyway, that's all I got for now. As always, love the show and keep doing what you're doing. Much love, Domobot. P.S. Sorry for the Chimeco joke. I could not resist.
I liked it.
All right, thank you for that email. Is there anybody we want to give the Green Tauros badge to this week?
Ooh.
The first one we read, because it tickled my brain about all these questions inside the Pokemon world.
I especially liked I know the doylist reason is this, but what's the Watsonian reason? I like that approach. So it was Umbreon 1080.
Umbreon 1080, you get the badge. With that said, guys, if you want to email us next week with your Pokemon Worlds thoughts, send those in to us at puclpodcast@gmail.com. You can also go ahead and follow us over at social medias like Twitter, Instagram, whatever the other, Facebook, that's the other one. And you can follow us over at twitch.tv/thepuclpodcast. Additionally, you can follow us over at YouTube at youtube.com/puclpodcast. You can follow us over on Patreon at patreon.com/puclpodcast and help support the show. We really appreciate it. I do need to get a picture of the flip-flops up there. I haven't done that yet because those will start going out in September, actually. That's next month. And the TCG mats need to be shipped out too. They're sitting in my closet because I don't like doing shipping, which is the part of the reason, but the supplier was bad and blah, blah, blah. So those will all be coming out. You'll get probably both of those at the same time if you got both. Additionally, you will also get... So look out for a survey, actually, probably next week for your flip-flop size, if you're at that tier. Additionally, if you'd like, you could follow us over at, what's the other thing? Oh, you could support the show by going to trollandtoad.com and using code PucklePod5 at checkout and helping support the show that way with a 5% discount off your cardboard. With that said, though, guys, I have been Trainer Thatch.
I have been the fluffiest Whimsicott, champion of the world.
Some say I have been Jushiro.
And here in the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's closing time.
Sorry, I had to.
It's closing time in Lavender Town. Time to say our goodbyes. It's closing time. Farewell, my friends. I'll catch you on the flip side.